Hello, my name is Jarod Grigg, and I'm doing a book talk on Beowulf. Beowulf was written in 1000 AD, around the turn of the century, the presumed apocalypse of the time. It has two authors, the last of which is unknown, and the first is the presumed Benedictine monk Wulfstan. Um, Basically, this story is the quest of a warrior sent by God to a people oppressed by the monster Grendel. And Beowulf is the answer. He's pretty much God's message to these people about salvation. And Grendel's this monster. He hates everything nice. He hates laughter. He hates music. And he comes to the uh, Scandinavian people. It pretty much destroys them. He eats all their heroes and um, uh, basically keeps the land in darkness. Now, Beowulf is the answer. He has the might of God in one of his arms. He has the strength of 20 men, and that's his handgripa. That's his hand strength. That is the force God uses him to eradicate the monster Grendel, to kill even Grendel's mom, and eventually a dragon in the end. But the role of Beowulf changes many times as we look throughout the text. It can be many different things. Is Beowulf really a religious messenger? Or is he a powerful hero bent on pride and boasting? As of the time, Scandinavians did receive their battle luck from Odin or Wotan, is the god of luck. And maybe this isn't a Christian work at all, and this is just a Scandinavian tale, a mythology, like in the Greek times, to preserve the history of the Scandinavian people. Or it could just be a fun tale written around the time of the century, one of the old myths used to bring happiness and excitement to people. But that is all up for discussion, because nobody really knows. No one knows the author. And although there's a lot of research about or done on Beowulf, nothing is quite clear. And this unclearness is what makes Beowulf much better than any other work I've seen in the classroom. Beowulf requires lots of critical thinking. It requires annotation, highlighting. It requires looking at relevant details, themes, like the theme of drunkenness, the theme of pride, are very relevant to Beowulf. It requires students to look into the audience of the time, do research on what's going on at the turn of the century. What are people focused on? Why would they want to hear the story of Beowulf? This is the facing page translation. So a good teacher can look into partnering that with Murray McGillivray's Old English Reader. It's an introduction into the Old English language, and allows students to come up with their own translations for the words in Beowulf. Things like Eglaka, which mean monster. That is a term applied to Grendel, to Grendel's mom, to the dragon, but it also is a term applied to Beowulf in certain instances. So maybe he's not this grand religious hero sent by God. Maybe he's actually a monster trying to kill off what he thinks to be the evil ones of his kind. All that is up for discussion in Beowulf, and many high school teachers look into using Beowulf in their classroom discussions, because it allows students to get engaged. It allows them to look at the side of the warrior and look at the side of the religious undertones that are just all through Beowulf. Everything is pretty much up for discussion. Now, Beowulf satisfies the text reading 1, 2, and 3. which is number 110.47. And that's not the only teak. It satisfies any requirement needed for reading, as um, Beowulf can be used to do. It is one of the few works I've seen that allows students to investigate pretty much anything they want about a text and do research into what it could possibly mean. One of the shortcomings, I guess, of Beowulf, though, is that because it's a translation, students won't be exposed to like heavy vocabulary. They won't be exposed to new words in like Victorian era novels like Pride and Prejudice. But Beowulf is in itself. It is its own class. Students are often coming to me looking to see, well, what do you know on Beowulf? Because I've taken an Old English class, and basically we look at how this mythology is relevant today. Now, I said in the beginning, Beowulf is the message to the people. When I delved into Beowulf, I looked at what is the time period. Now, like I said in the beginning, this is the turn of the century. This is the time of the apocalypse. Beowulf could have been written to provide a answer to the people, sort of in the symbolism and in some of the actions. Beowulf always boasts on page 95 of Arne Louise's Facing Page translation. Let the wise Lord, the holy God, grant judgment of glory to whichever hand seems proper to him. I consider myself no poorer in strength and battle deeds than Grendel does himself, so I will not kill him with a sword, put an end to his life, though I easily might. Basically, Beowulf puts all his trust in God. He allows God to come through for him. He takes off all his weapons, all his armor, and he just fights Grendel one-on-one to see who's going to be the stronger. Pretty much like the story of David and Goliath, where David has only a sling and some stones. Goliath is this great warmongering giant. He's got a spear and a great sword, a person who has to hold a shield for him. Beowulf is pretty much that David. He's the message to the people that they need to let go of everything they're trying to do to get into heaven and just let God be their means, to see God and get rid of everything in their life and pursue God face to face and just say, it's in your hands. That's one of the amazing things about Beowulf, is that it allows people to look at individual words, individual scenes, and pick them apart. Because every word is up for discussion. Every word is not finalized, like in many novels. And that is one of the great reasons that I would love to teach this in a class. Now, Beowulf is long, but it is an arduous read, but it's so exciting to see how Beowulf transgresses from the warrior to the king of the land, and yet maintains the idea of pride, which constantly conflicts him throughout the story. How does this relate to today? Well, today people need to learn to pretty much let go of everything that's weighing them down, to conquer in the name of something. I mean, everyone lives for something. So what are you living for? What are you conquering? What is your strength? These are relevant details that Beowulf has. And like I said, anything is up for debate. So you can pretty much get any meaning you want from it. And that's what students really want, is they want to find their own meaning. And I spent a whole semester looking for my own meaning in Beowulf, and I finally found it. Anyways, uh, again, this book was written in the turn of the century by two unknown authors. A presumed author as a Benedictine monk. So it does have a heavy Christian influence, maybe. This is the genre of this book is fictional mythology, I guess. And although it is a myth, it does have a sense of realism. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this discussion and book talk on Beowulf, and I'd love to hear your own thesis about Beowulf and maybe your own questions. Thank you very much.